Hi there, I hope you're good. Continuing with our shadow work in the workplace, talking about hatred as a shadow in the work environment as a leader. Now, when you're leading people, sometimes people hate one another. That's very normal, especially in very competitive industries. But competitive industry or not, you can be in a fluffy kumbaya organization. You could be running an NGO and people hate each other there. Why? Because they're humans. And for most people, that will operate in their shadow because they don't like to see those aspects of themselves. Hatred is a nasty thing when you look at it, and so most people prefer not to. So they will justify their hatred for their colleagues. And hatred is different to jealousy. Jealousy can lead to hatred, so a reason for hating can be jealousy, but not always. Hate is just hate. And people will hate people because they're black, because they're white, because they're tall, because they're fat, because they're Jewish. And you're going to deal with all forms of hatred. Now, there are unlawful forms of hatred where they take discrimination or hate, or take the form of discrimination or hate speech. I'm not dealing with the legal aspect of things. I'm dealing with the human aspect of things, where people will hate each other, but it won't contravene the law. And these things tend to be covert and subtle, and those are the exact things that will erode your work environment completely. You'll be leading people who walk on eggshells and where there's pins and needles, and people hate coming to work because of who they have to encounter at work. This is where hatred is in the shadow. How do you integrate this as a leader? Well, you first need to be honest with yourself, because sometimes you're the hater, or you're the person that everybody hates because you're very incompetent, or you just suck, or you're just a cunt. So doing your own personal shadow work on this subject as a leader will help you a great deal. And then becoming conscious of the reality of the fact that in a workspace, people will hate one another. And how you integrate that is that you create a standard, a code of conduct that you expect people to show up as. That's the stick. So there'll be consequences if they don't show up that way, and you enforce that uniformly. So there's no people who you favor above others. That undermines that code of conduct when you do that. And then the carrot or the incentive is that you create an environment where people can get along. So when you are fueling the toxicity through things like favoritism and consistency and incompetence and all sorts of things that you can do as a leader to fuel the hatred, you're not helping yourself in your environment. So have good things that you are consciously doing to make sure that people get along. They don't have to like each other. They just need to manage the hate, and it's your job